Okay, here we are. We are post-holiday season. We are into the new year. And if you're like me, you still have your decorations up. You have some gifts that haven't found a home yet. And maybe you're feeling a little overwhelmed about where to start and how to go about getting your home back to a place that feels calm and nourishing and functional. So in today's video, I thought I would walk you through how I reset my home after the holidays, how I declutter new gifts, and how I reclaim my space step by step without losing all of the cozy holiday Christmas vibes that I love during this time of year. For anyone who's new here, I'm Krista, and this is The Slow Creative. This is a space where I share simple tips, inspiration, and tools to help you live and work more intentionally, especially if you are a highly sensitive creative like me with limited time and limited energy. If you're new here, welcome. And if you've been around this channel for a while, welcome back. Okay, so before I can do anything, taking any decor off of the walls or removing ornaments from the tree, the first thing that I need to do is really get my home back to baseline. So for me, baseline is a 70% benchmark where it's not deep clean or anything like that, but the flat surfaces are all cleaned off so that I have a space to lay things out and to organize them as I'm taking things down. The floors are also clean so that I'm not taking things out and stepping all over crumbs, or I'm not tracking glitter and pine needles and all of the things throughout the house as I'm trying to get it organized and get back to a calm, functional space. One of the reasons that I do this as well is because I don't have a full day to just sit there and take all of the decorations down. I might be working 20 minutes here, maybe an hour there, but there's a good chance that I'm not going to get it all done in one go. So I like to keep my space still feeling functional and not too overwhelming so that I can cook dinner without feeling too overwhelmed. If people pop by, it's not going to be too chaotic, or if kids are home and they're playing and doing all of the things, they have space to play and I'm not feeling like we're just piling mess on top of mess. So I know that if I have to stop halfway through or a quarter way through, or I'm only working at it for 20 minutes and someone comes over, or I need to stop for whatever reason, I can still live my life in this space without feeling too overwhelmed by all of the things that are now out and about. And then when I come back to it later, it's not going to feel too overwhelming to begin again. This step alone for me is essential. It is the first place to start, and it just makes the whole thing feel doable, calmer, and a lot less overwhelming. So step 2 is just removing anything that doesn't belong in this season. I consider this kind of low-hanging fruit. These are things that you can just go around the house and start taking off of the shelves or picking up off of the floors and start putting them into piles that you can then categorize. I'm really just looking for easy wins, things that I can quickly go around and grab that just makes starting this whole thing a lot less overwhelming. Then as I'm taking things down, I'm putting them into a pile and I'm somewhat categorizing where they go. I'm keeping, the wreaths are all in a pile and the garland is all in a pile because I know that they go in a certain bin or in a specific area. I'm not super particular about being insanely organized so that when I open it, it's all categorized. I just like to have things in general piles just because it's easier to kind of put away when like items are together. But sometimes things get mixed up and I don't worry too much about it. I just try to have some general organization just so that things are not so overwhelming. As I'm taking these items down, I'm also making sure to remove any batteries so that there's no leaks while things are in storage or it doesn't ruin the item. One year I left batteries in a light up sort of piece of art, and the next year that I took them out, the batteries were like almost glued in there. There must have been a leak or something, and I couldn't use the item again the following year. So it's really important to take all of the batteries out, store them somewhere safe so that they can be reused and you're not dealing with a mess when it comes time to take your decorations out again next year. So for me, the tree is a big job. It's the one that I leave until last. So I'm not taking anything off of the tree right now. And I also categorize all of the tree stuff together in its own thing, where I'm putting all of the lights together and I'm putting all of the ornaments together. So for me, that's its own separate thing. Right now, I'm just managing all of the other decorative items that I had put out over the holidays. Okay, so now step 3 is moving on to the tree and just taking off all of the Christmas tree ornaments and all of the lights. Because the tree for me feels like the most daunting task, I like to leave it until last And if I'm putting all of the other decorative items away and the tree is left out a little longer, it's not such a big deal for me because I can do that maybe in an hour or something, or I can kind of pick and poke at it over a couple of days if I need to, or if I have a couple of hours free that afternoon, I can kind of work my way through the Christmas tree, but everything else has already been picked up in my space. So it's just the final task. And the Christmas tree for me is also really one of the coziest parts of the holidays. So sitting down, watching TV or watching a movie with the Christmas tree lights on is really a nostalgic, cozy vibe that I love, a feeling that I love. So that's another reason I like to leave the Christmas tree as one of the last things that I take down. So as I start taking the Christmas tree ornaments off, again, I don't really have an amazing system for organizing ornaments. I have like a couple of bins, but I do kind of look at the ornaments just to make sure there's nothing broken. So I'm just kind of looking at things like that to see if they need to go in the recycling or in the garbage, if they're done, if they've seen better days, or if you're taking things off the Christmas tree and you're like, I don't love this anymore. Or, I think next year I want to change things up a little bit. Now might be a really good time to kind of put them in their own pile and to sell for Facebook Marketplace or something next year when the season rolls around, or to donate if you're feeling like it's time to pare down on some of the decor that you have. So for many of the ornaments that I do keep, I try to keep ornament cases for things that are breakable. So often what I like to do is I'll just wrap them in tissue paper or Kleenex or paper towel even and put them in my ornament organizing bin. But something else you could do is save an egg carton and wrap them in that and just put some elastic around the egg carton so it doesn't pop open on you. And then you have some protection for some of the more delicate ornaments on your Christmas tree. The next is the lights. I just take those off of the tree and bundle them up and put them with all of my Christmas tree lights or the similar type of lights that I have in a bin. You can take a piece of cardboard and wrap the lights around the cardboard, which is going to make it easier for you to take them out next year so they're not all tangled up. So that can be a really helpful tip so that next year when you take out your decorations, it's not going to feel as overwhelming and daunting. And you're going to be thanking yourself in a year if you do that. So once all of the lights and the ornaments are off the tree, then I just take the tree out, I take it apart, and I just put it back in the tree bag. And then I just store it downstairs in my basement until it's time to take it out again next year. Okay, so the next thing that I want to talk to you about is just simple storage solutions for all of your Christmas stuff that isn't too overwhelming. So before I say this though, I think it's really important to think about where your tolerance level is. If you were to think like not overwhelmed to extremely overwhelmed, where do you fit on that scale of decor? If you have so much decor that it feels super daunting to take it out every year, or you find you're only taking out partial decor because you have too much, then it's probably a good time to think about paring down some of the stuff that you have. A lot of people are still looking to buy Christmas decorations for next year at a good discount. It could be a very good time to start listing things even on Facebook Marketplace, or just putting them in its own box so that next year when it's Christmas season again, you can go ahead and list them on Facebook Marketplace or a place like that. So I really try not to have more decor than I want to put out or that I love. If I don't love something, I don't want to be storing it in space that I don't really have and feeling overwhelmed taking the bins out next year. So that's one thing, is just thinking about how much stuff you have, maybe paring it down and looking at what's left and thinking about how you can find simple ways to store things so that it's easy when it comes time to decorate for next year. For me, I like to use clear bins and bags when possible. On any bins that I have that are not clear, then I will just label them. But if they're clear, I can easily see what's in those bins, which just makes it really handy. I also have these clear wreath bags. One thing I do love to change out seasonally or for different occasions is wreaths. I always have a wreath on my door. I think it looks really beautiful and very inviting and welcoming. So that's one thing that I do have a lot of. So I have 2 clear wreath bags and all of my wreaths go in there. It's very easy to access and I can just hang it up on a little hook in my basement. They're tucked away, they're out of sight, and they're just easy to take things in and out of. For everything else, it mostly goes in a bin that I've either labeled or, like I said, that is see-through that I can easily see into it. And I try to keep similar items in the bin together. So frames and artwork that are Christmas related will go together in a bin. Christmas garland or any greenery that I have out will go in its own bin together. And then like Christmas ornaments and anything relating to decorating the Christmas tree goes together in its own little bin, and then lights are in their own bin, that kind of thing. So I try to stick what I can into bins just to keep it really simple. And when I have to go into my storage room, which is already very small, things are up off the floors, they're in bins. I can just easily take things in and out. Another really handy thing that I have that I purchased a few years ago that I love is having a bag, or you could also do this with a bin too, a plastic bin, but just having like a bag where you keep all of your Christmas wrapping, you keep your Christmas bags, tape, scissors, Christmas cards, tags, ribbon, all of that just lives together inside either one bin or one bag. I like the bag because it's very easy for me to pick it up and move it around. If I want to go wrap up in my bedroom or down in the basement, I just pick up this bag and it comes with me, and I just kind of leave it out tucked away over the holiday season because I found that I was always taking it out to kind of do some wrapping. So just having it handy and accessible just helps everything feel so much less overwhelming. After using it for a few seasons, it has gotten pretty disorganized. So that is something that I will have to manage probably next year. Take out what I'm no longer using and just kind of clean it up. The thing that's really nice about just having some simple organization, whether it's like bags or bins or a mixture of both or just boxes even, is that you know where everything is when you need it. And it's just easier to take things out when it comes time to do that next year. Okay, so something that I do to make things a little easier, I get really overwhelmed trying to bring all of the bins back up and down the stairs. They're not heavy, but they're just kind of awkward and I find them really tricky. I find that part of the whole process to be really daunting. So what I do instead is I just grab like a grocery bag or a bin or something that's smaller that I can just load everything into the bags, and then I will bring them down in multiple loads. So that could be really overwhelming for you to have to do multiple loads up and down the stairs. But for me, I just find it's easier if I just organize everything down in the basement where all of the bins are. I take them out and they're all just kind of laid out, and I can take my time with organizing. This gets everything off of my main living space and downstairs where I keep all of the bins and everything else. As you can see, I don't have a ton of decor. I just keep things very simple and sustainable. The more decor, the longer it takes to set it up, the longer it takes to put away, the more storage I need. And so I just try to keep things as simple as possible. You might live with somebody who can easily carry the bins, or maybe you have smaller bins and this is not an issue for you. But I just find personally, it's just easier to carry things down in multiple loads in bags and just organize things where I store all of the bins. It's just easier to manage. Okay, let's talk about gifts and the aftermath of all of the new things and trying to find a home for all of your gifts without feeling too overwhelmed. I know that sometimes, especially with kid stuff, there's a lot of packaging left around. There's a lot of just things left out and about that haven't yet found a home that you can be tripping over, that can just create a lot of visual clutter and noise, and it can start to feel very overwhelming pretty quickly. So the first thing that I do on Christmas Day is everybody gets like a bag or a box or something to put all of their stuff in, and everything is then contained inside that bag or the box. And then I give the kids about a week to have their items in this box. Then I'm not seeing like toys and games and clothes and all of the things just kind of strewn about the house. It's contained in their own little box. So I give them about a week to have that out. Then after about a week, what we do is we go through it together and we start to categorize where things belong so that we can now find a home for these items. So for example, my kids get a lot of crafting kind of things or activity sets that they can do throughout the year, which are always super handy to have. We have a crafting cabinet in our dining room kitchen area. So anything that's like craft related or art related or like activity based will live in that cabinet. So when the kids want to do an activity or someone says, I'm bored, I don't know what to do, we can go to the cabinet and we can pull an activity out. So anything related to that kind of all lives in one space, which makes it easy for them and easy for me as well. Or games, we have a central kind of game area where I keep all of our games, those will go there. Or if we have any personal items that belong in our bedroom, books, clothing, maybe special toys, that kind of thing, then I put those in a pile. So we just kind of go through the stuff and give it a home on where we think it should live within our house. And while we're doing that, I am taking all of the things out of the plastic wrapping or any of the packaging, and I'm dealing with the recycling and the garbage immediately. So then when it goes into our crafting cabinet, they can just take the item out and it's ready to go. Or if they want to read a book or whatever the case is, they're not having to take out the packaging. Garbage isn't left all about. I just kind of deal with it then and there so that it's done. I try to do that as much as possible. It's about just not having to be switching tasks. So if I want to use something and then I'm taking everything out of the package, that eats up time, that eats up energy. So for me, I'm trying to batch things together. So I'm dealing with all of the recycling at one time to make it easy for when it's time to use it. Something else is if your kids get gifts and they have a lot of things, it can be really handy to put some of those items up in a closet or in a bin in storage, just somewhere out of sight. And then you can bring it out in a month's time or in a couple of months' time. My son had received quite a few Lego sets for Christmas. He loves to do Lego. So I've taken some of those Lego sets and I've just put them up until he's worked through some of the other ones that he's received. And then I can bring those out later and he's probably forgotten about them. And then it's fun and it's like Christmas all over again. This is a really good time to consider the one in, one out rule as well. If you have received an item that you already own, does the older item need to be replaced? Could the old item be rehomed? Or if you've received a duplicate of something and you don't think you'll need it, could it be an item that you put away for next year to give to somebody else who might be able to use it and would also really appreciate it? I have a pretty small space for things like games and puzzles. So when these items come in, this is a good time to donate the older puzzles or games and pass them on. The same is with clothes. This is a really good time to kind of go through your closet and just going through and taking out a few items that you no longer wear so that you're just not adding more to what you already have and you're keeping your life very sustainable. So step 6 is really about deciding what stays and what goes. I've already touched on this a little throughout the video, but just really thinking about, do you love this item? Is this something that you want to take out again for next year? Could it be rehomed? Could it be recycled? Is it time to move on and part from this item? Because as I'm going through this process, I'm also thinking about how do I want to feel next year when it's time to unbox some of these things and start decorating again. I don't want to feel super overwhelmed and I don't want this to feel like a huge daunting task. Because if something feels like clutter now, it's going to feel 10 times heavier next year when you take it out. So it's really not about getting rid of everything. It's just about being super intentional about what you want to keep in your home and how you want to feel during the holidays, how you want to feel when it comes time to decorate again next year and put all of the things away again. Step 7 is the kitchen reset. And for me, this usually starts with just cleaning out the fridge, taking out any expired food items, wiping down all of the shelves just so that everything in there feels fresh and clean again. The pantry is another area that can often get a little out of control over the holidays. Maybe you have more holiday type foods that you don't normally have throughout the rest of the year. Maybe there's empty boxes of crackers or cereal and those kinds of things. And I just kind of go through, I'm not doing a deep clean, but I'm just looking through to see if there's anything that can be tossed or any recycling that I can get rid of. I have like a little bin in my pantry where I keep potatoes and onions and those kinds of things. And sometimes food falls down in there. I had some nuts that fell down in there. So I just took out my vacuum and I just vacuumed out that space so that everything just had a little reset in my pantry too. And the final piece to the kitchen reset is just taking any holiday items out of the kitchen, Christmas mugs, for example, or tea towels, or any decorative items that are related to that season, just taking them out, getting them out of your space and packing them away for next year. Okay, in step 8, this is my absolute essential, no skip step. I think it's the most important one, and that is keeping the cozy vibes. It's my favorite part of the holidays. It's my favorite part about moving into the colder winter months. So I don't want to lose the cozy, Christmassy feel that feels so wonderful during that time of year, but I also don't want all of the Christmas clutter around either. So what do I do to keep that cozy, Christmassy, holiday home vibe? For me, I like to keep candles around. I keep candles lit year round in my home. On my kitchen countertops, I usually have a candle that I just light and I keep that lit very often, usually with some cozy scent like vanilla or sandalwood or something that feels still very cozy and holiday-like without being too Christmassy. And I also love the LED candles. I have those all throughout my home. But in the evening, I like to turn the LED candles on, and that is pretty much the only lighting once it gets dark that I have on for the rest of the evening. I might use the overhead light in my kitchen just for task lighting, but even that is pretty dim. And I avoid harsh overhead lighting, and I just stick with lamps, LED candles, and soft lighting. The other thing that I like to do is I like to have soft ambient music playing in my home pretty much all throughout the day. Over the holidays, it was definitely Christmas music on from morning till night, but now that the holidays are over, I usually just have some soft ambient jazz music that's very cozy. It just helps to give my home a very calm and nourishing feeling. The other thing that really helps to contribute to the cozy holiday vibes are the scents that you use around your home. So I don't have a lot of scented candles, but when I do, they are, like I said, I often use things like vanilla is a really lovely scent that's not too strong and not too overpowering, that has a lot of coziness to it. And I'll also have some essential oils in my diffuser, again, with really cozy scents that just make me feel at peace and calm in my space. Another thing you could do is if you have throw pillows, you could swap the Christmas ones out for still some cozy ones. Keep the texture in the room with some nice cozy blankets that you can curl up with so that your home still feels very warm and inviting. One of the worst things about taking all of the holiday decor down is the contrast can feel very stark and almost bare, but it doesn't have to feel cold. So by keeping some of the cozy vibes in your home, it can really help you transition and help things not feel so stark when everything comes down. You don't need to do a reset like this all in one go. I have been doing this reset myself over about 4 or 5 days and just kind of filming what I can as I go. So you don't need to do this all in one sitting. If you don't have that kind of space or energy, take your time with it, go through the steps that I've outlined and do just 1 or 2 steps every day for the next few days and do what works with your life and your energy. If you have any tips, ideas, or inspiration that you can share with us that helps you reset your home after the holidays, please share them in the comments below. I would love to hear what you do. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again next week.